should have played one of PJ Morton's sounds for the countdown. Welcome to Pillow Talk with Angela. I'm so glad that you're here. And I'm really glad that our guest is here. We all love him so much. He's actually been on the show one time before, so I'm glad that he is back with us. He's a Grammy Award winner. He's a singer. He's a songwriter, producer extraordinaire, and so much more. So please welcome. Oh, we're going to talk all about his new single, My Peace. Please welcome PJ Morton.
Yes,
Hi.
yes. Hey, Angela, good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Good to see you again, I should say.
Exactly, exactly. Yes,
Thanks for
indeed.
making the time. I know you're busy. Where in the world are you right
Of
now? You
course,
never know with you.
I'm actually home for a day. I got to sneak in home for a day between
Okay,
tour and everything. So I'm in New Orleans at Gumbo
nice.
Studios right now. Yeah, my
Oh, is that
studio.
the name of your
Yeah.
studio? I
Yeah,
love
that's
it.
right.
It must be. If it's New Orleans,
Y-
I was saying just a few minutes ago to you, anytime I go to New Orleans, I just have to accept the fact that I'm going to gain
yeah,
at least 5 pounds, no matter how long
it's
I'm
true.
there.
It
Oh,
just happens. Yeah, it
it
just
just
happens.
happens. I love this city.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you. Your
Thank you.
new single, My Peace. Of course, we're rocking it on
Thank y'all.
WHUR, and people are
Always
loving it.
appreciate it. Yeah.
We are team PJ Morton, but your music is really good. And so let's talk about the song. And it
Mm-hmm.
inspired this week's Pillow Talk topic, just so you know, and we'll get into
Is
that
that
in
right?
just a moment.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. So the song is called My Peace, and you
hmm
collaborated again with JoJo, right?
With my partner, yeah, with my partners, kind of, JoJo's kind of become the well that I just keep going back to. We have
Yeah.
such an easy relationship, such an easy friendship, and we just make sense musically as well. Of course, we had success with Say So, and
Oh yeah.
that won us best R&B song at the Grammys a couple years ago. Yeah,
Yes.
so we just keep rolling. But the song really, it also fit her because JoJo is big on that. She's big on her peace. She's big on her boundaries. She's big on understanding that about herself. So I knew
Mm.
that she would also fit the vision of the song.
Ah,
I was working on this album during the pandemic, and I realized that we literally don't have control over anything
yeah.
except ourselves, and that just makes my piece so expensive that if you're trying to take away that, I gotta be done. Like that's all I really have. The
Mm.
world could flip upside down. It could be going crazy around me, but I can have my own peace. So if
Yeah.
I give that away, I really have nothing. And that's kind of where the song came from, and it
Wow.
all came together. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, where to start? That is that in and of itself is so powerful. I mean,
Yeah.
you just dropped so many gems just now.
Mm,
I grew up with a very spiritual or in a very spiritual household. And
same. Yeah.
yeah, and my mother always instilled that in us that, of course, strive for everything. You want to be informed, you want to be this, you want to be that. But at the end of the day, the only thing you really have control over is you.
That's
It's your
right.
responsibility. I mean, just how you present yourself to the world, how you want people to respond to you, you have control over that
That's right.
because they're pretty much going to react the way you allow them to.
That's
And
true.
right? I mean, and
Yeah.
so I
Oh,
love that.
absolutely. Yeah.
And so the whole my peace part, as it relates to Pillow Talk with Angela, which is all about communication and relationships, it's all about relationships. My question I put out there is,
Mhm.
what are you willing to put up with? Just, I mean, everybody wants love and, of course, companionship. And the older you get, the more, you're looking at the other side and saying, do I really want to grow old alone?
Yeah.
And, right. And so good companionship becomes more and more important. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah. I knew.
and
I knew really early on that I was going to have to choose that. I think a lot of times, and I've been in my relationship for a long time now.
okay,
But a lot of us think that it's just going to be, you're swept off your feet and then it's going to feel like bliss all the time. But the
yeah,
same way you choose a career, the same, you're not happy at your job all the time, but you're like, you know what, this is what I chose. I started this business. This is my
right,
business. Even though they're bad days, I'm gonna push through because I know ultimately it's gonna pay off. It's the same with a relationship. you have to choose. You have to choose to be with that person and
Woo!
choose to go through life with that person.
Yeah.
And eventually that pays off because you continue to grow and learn each other, and you just get closer and closer. Because I think putting two humans together is like the most difficult thing in the world. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, because one human is difficult. So when you try to
That's
put two
right.
together,
Completely
so
different humans. It's like, okay,
it's
I'm
like,
this
whoa,
universe and then this
yeah,
universe. Like, yeah,
yeah. And I think it's being open to understanding that we are human, you know, and that
yeah,
people have to grow and learn. And, you know, that's been a success in my life. But the big part of it that I had to learn, and my father told me this, was choosing, though, choosing, saying, all
yeah.
right, this is what it is. Let's go, you know.
Because that's your power. You do have the
Yeah,
option of choosing, whatever you want. Hey,
that's right.
Mark Downs is on the thread here. Just
All
got back
right.
from Crescent City. All right.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, very
Shout out
nice.
to Mark.
Shout out to Mark. PJ, you were saying about JoJo that that's who she is as well, that's
Hmm.
boundaries, and keeping her own peace and self-care and all of that stuff is really important to her. I
Hmm.
have to say that being self-actualized isn't necessarily the norm, in
No.
talking. It isn't. Talking to a lot of people, they don't get how much of a priority that really needs to be for everything else to be successful.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, she grew to that point, I'm sure. JoJo started off as, you know, we knew JoJo from a very young age, and she went through so much with the record company, and you know, she was there with Black Ground Records with Aaliyah and all those guys as a little kid, would get out, you know, I think she was 12 years old. And
Wow.
I think she had to learn that, okay, man, it may be chaos all around, but I've
Yeah.
got to start to create my boundaries and create the things that make me feel okay. Because, like I say in the song, I got to be all about me, you
Yeah.
know, before I'm all about you. Because if I don't take care of me, I'm no good to you. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
And so
Yeah.
that's literally what it is. So it starts with us. It starts with the person first, before you can be any good to anybody else. So,
And
like I said, yeah,
I love that. But you know this industry and you've been in it for a very long time and you've
yeah,
found success, a long time and you've been around some other very powerful people. And
sure.
in this entertainment industry, sometimes things can get hectic. And
Hmm.
oftentimes people will do or feel that, you know what? This isn't necessarily how I would do things, but I've got to do what I need to do in order to stay here. And
Hmm.
so, what do you say to people who, might put up with some stuff that could be harmful to them spiritually and their own peace? You know what I'm saying? That people, and
No, for
especially
sure.
women, have the mindset of, okay,
I got to
maybe I
deal
need
with
to
this to
just,
get here. Yeah,
yeah.
no, for sure. I mean, you know, thankfully, a big part of my career has been independence, you know,
Hmm.
and it's allowed me to create my own space and create my own environment. But that's not the case with everything. You know, sometimes I have to go in situations where I'm not necessarily in control. And then I think that brings me back to 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 me, and brings it back to me being able to control my peace, you know,
Right.
control what you are and know what your limits are. You know, I think you've got to set those. No different than when people gamble and they, you know, end up spending everything. I think you got to set your limit before you get there and know, like, what's worth it to me.
Yeah.
Only up to this point is worth it for me. And if we
Yeah.
get past that, then maybe that's not for me, you know, and I need to go and I need to find a different way to do it, you know.
Oh, I love the way you answered that. And that
Yeah,
applies to everything. That's across the board. That's
sure.
relationships, right? I mean, because
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been in a situation, but I know many have, where, you've wanted this relationship for so long, you get there, and you're like, I'll do anything. I just
Yeah.
want this to work. But then you get lost. And
That's
this
right.
relationship
That's
might
right.
not be good for you. And but once you get your power once you realize you've had it all along.
Yeah,
And
that's
once you
right.
get the strength enough to say, you know what, this is not worth it to me, that's when you
Mhm.
kind of find yourself.
That's right. You have to know that for yourself, though. Nobody else can tell you
That's
what that
right.
is, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love it so much. So,
Yeah,
as I mentioned earlier, you've worked with some really powerful people. One is Stevie Wonder. I always have to bring that up.
of
Uh,
course. Yes.
and
My
you
hero.
hear he is. I mean, I love Stevie so much, and
Yeah,
I hear his influence. Yet, I hear PJ Morton a lot as well.
of
But talk
course.
about how he's influenced you and your career,
Yes,
personally and professionally.
yeah, Stevie for me was indirectly, just a mentor for me first indirectly. As a young keyboard player who wanted to sing and write songs, there was just no better blueprint than Stevie, And I discovered him at a young age, probably about 12, and then I just could not put it down. Like I wanted to find every bit of Stevie and find every interview. I was just obsessed. And then I wasn't writing songs yet, but when I started to write, some of that started to come out, and you could hear
Mm,
the influence, as I was finding myself. Um, and then full circle to now have a relationship with Stevie and him really pour into me
yeah.
and encourage me not to stop and and push me. And now to be on this record with me even was just so huge. It's just full
Yeah.
circle because I literally don't think I'd be doing this at all had it not be for the genius of Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
So it's just really, it's like it's mind blowing to me. I mean, I never get used to it. It's not like I'm comfortable just because I had to
Right.
start getting comfortable calling him because he's like, man, I told you you could call me. I'm like, I know, but you're still
You're
Stevie
Stevie
Wonder,
Wonder.
like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be blowing you up. But he's like, man, we're friends, and made me comfortable. And even recording him on this album, it was like, what do you tell Stevie, But he's like,
Right.
hey man, you're producing this. Tell me what you want me to do. And he really just that's what he does. He empowers you. And it was no different with this record. And I'm just forever grateful for him and all that he's done. I mean, he's so important to the world,
Yeah.
he's the songbook of the world, I think. and
Yeah.
and I'm just grateful that I get to be around him and next to him at all, let
That's
alone
beautiful.
collaborate. Yeah,
Yes, that is huge, and it is something to be proud of. And
sure.
one of the many things I love about Stevie Wonder, I'm falling in love with this same thing about you as well.
Mm,
Stevie is not afraid to write and sing about what's really going on in the world and what's
sure.
going on in his heart. And so I'm
Mhm.
anxious to hear what he's going to say about like this whole thing that just came out today with Brittany Griner. And
Yeah, the
it's a
9 years. Yes,
shame.
it's horrible.
It's a
Yeah.
shame. I mean, and I don't know her personally. I only know,
Hmm.
I mean, some people say she's the greatest female basketball player to date.
Yeah, she's
And
special. Yeah.
she's very special. But I mean, if this was my little sister, who did, it was a mistake and it wasn't even
Yeah.
a big deal, it would be easily considered a misdemeanor. But how
Yes. Oh, easily.
helpless,
Yeah. No, and
right?
Stevie even spoke to me like it's not just music. For me,
Yeah,
he was pushing me to speak to things, and I remember
that's right.
when the voting rights were up, in Congress, and he was just telling me like, people told me that I wouldn't have a career if I spoke out on these things. He was like, and today feels like no different than when I felt Emmett Till, and like he really
Right.
speaks he really speaks to me about those things as well, and tries to push me to be a voice. I know I do it in the music, but
Yeah.
even him, he'll step outside of the music and speak to
Yeah.
it. And I'm continuing to grow as an artist and understand those things. But I love
Is
Stevie
there a
so much.
fear?
Yeah.
Is there a fear
uh
though? I mean, because as an artist, you've got to tread a little bit lightly sometimes because you don't want to piss off or offend any of your
yeah.
fans, but at the same time, you're a human being in this world as a black man in
Yeah,
America
and and with a platform, and that is
with a
that comes with
platform.
the cause, a cost. And I mean, if he was saying that back then, that's before cancel culture, that's before the internet.
That's right.
So it's even more threatening for that. But thankfully for me, I've built something that where I have a direct connection with my audience, and
Yeah.
I think they have, what time does is builds trust, and we feel like we know each other, and
That's right.
they know why I'm doing things,
Yeah.
and what the reasons are. So no, I've got to move with no fear. I mean, this is what I
Yeah.
asked for, and I've been given this platform. So I think it's just important, not for every artist, not when it doesn't feel natural, because
Yeah.
then I think it can be counterproductive. But when it really is a
Exactly.
mission for you, then I think it's just you just have you have a responsibility to say something.
I love that. I
Yeah.
thank you for that because you're
Yeah.
right. If it's not authentic, then just stay in your lane and
Yeah,
do
don't,
you.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Because
for
people
sure.
can smell it a mile away. You're
Exactly.
doing
Especially
this.
today more than ever.
Oh, as
Yeah.
thirsty as people are for likes, you know.
My goodness. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. However, on the, conversely, if this is truly someone's spirit and you speak out, it's amazing how many people are just grateful for you
Yeah.
to say the things, on your platform that they want to say and
Yeah.
definitely want to support. What are you the most proud of so far in your career?
What am I the most proud of? Great question. I think I'm most proud of being authentic as
Hmm.
an artist.
Mm,
I have been offered things. I have been, asked to do things that may have helped success.
right.
At least in the immediate future, it could have helped certain things. But it was always important for me to remain exactly who I was.
Mm.
And like Frank Sinatra, I did it my way,
There you
and
go.
I've been able to get to this point, just being PJ and not succumbing to a lot of the things, a lot of the pitfalls that have been offered there. And I think that really is that's what gives me peace. Ultimately, is that I've been able to be myself. That's really important to me. And as I look back, it's like, wow, okay, that actually worked. I didn't always know that was gonna work.
Okay.
It's especially when it
Yeah,
didn't look like, it looked like, oh, I see my friends becoming more popular, or I see
right.
this person doing this and that, but I didn't let that make me waver. And yeah, that's definitely what I'm most proud of.
Yeah, that's something to be proud of because
Yeah.
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, one can see how easily one could be influenced by, oh well, they're doing this. We're
Yeah,
similar in some ways. Let me try a little bit of that and add it to what
exactly.
I'm doing, not
Yeah,
necessarily your path.
that's right.
So
That's right.
yeah, it
Yeah.
might be harder and sometimes take a little bit longer doing
But
it
more
your
rewarding
way.
for sure.
But
Yeah.
more
More
rewarding. Yeah,
rewarding.
thank you
Absolutely.
for that. So,
Yeah.
all right, I know you're in your studio. What is it? Gumbo Studios?
Gumbo Studios. That's right. Yeah.
And so we're not going to keep you from doing your thing much longer, but thank you for spending the time with us.
Of course.
And
Anytime, Angela. Yeah.
congratulations again on my piece. We love it. So shout out to JoJo and everybody who helped you with this effort. It's beautiful. WHUR is blowing it up and people are loving it. So
Thank
anything
you.
you want to say to your fans, shout out your social media, any of that.
Sure. All right. No, thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Angela, and thank you to WHUR for spinning this record. Shout out to JoJo and Mr. Talkbox who are part of this record and brought it to life with me. I'm on tour. I'm on the Watch the Sun tour. You can get tickets at pjmortonmusic.com. We've been having a blast. I just sold out the Apollo in New York. It was an amazing experience. I mean, it was like
Yes.
all my heroes have played that building, so it was just an
Mm,
amazing time. And we'll be in DC and everywhere else. So tune in for that and come get this experience. That's what it is, more than a concert. It's an experience. So I hope to see
mm.
you guys there. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Pete, how do they get the tour schedule? I know they could just Google
Yeah.
you, but
Yeah, on any of my socials at PJ Morton, PJMorton, but also the website is where you can get tickets, pjmortonmusic.com.
it's awesome. PJ, thank you
Yeah.
so much. Keep doing what you're doing. God bless you.
Thank you. Much love. Bless you.
Thank you.
All right.
Wow. PJ Morton on Pillow Talk with Angela. That was amazing. Thank you all for joining us. It's going to live right here on Facebook and on YouTube. And of course, you can hear this interview, this conversation, I should say, Sunday night, right after the original Quiet Storm on your favorite station. Thank you for keeping us number one, 96.3 WHUR. Have a great day and a great night. Bye.